Hey everyone, Silly here, and if you want to make 500,000 rubles in about 10 to 15 minutes, then this is the video for you. So let's get into it. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately on what to do if you're new or how to make money and you don't know where to start. This is a nice little interesting loot run I do to make a bunch of money super quick with honestly a pretty big success rate. Now you can scav in when you do this and it won't even be that bad. Half of the GPUs in my stash right now, or in my Bitcoin farm, are from scavs. I've scavved in 5 minutes left in raid time. Well, you know, I don't think you can scav in quite that late, you know, within the last 15 minutes of the game, and then I get to techlight within the last 5 minutes, and there's a GPU still there. Some people are doing questing, they don't check the valuable loot spawns, and some people just don't go to the high PvP areas just because they'd rather not get into fights. So always check any of the spots you're about to see on your scav, because chances are they will be there. Not every time, but they will be there. So anyways, let's get into this loot run. So we started on the idea side. I put on a standard kit here just because I wanted to make sure that if you're rolling on a PMC, it's a realistic time for you. I have an SJ6. You can SJ6 into the mall, and I recommend you do that if you want to avoid getting possibly shot while you're running in, because a lot of people get into fights outside the entrance of the mall. But we're just gonna run in here on the idea side. I'll keep track of how long this takes, so I'm not gonna SJ6 for this example. Now keep in mind I do have max strength. I'm a little quicker than the average. I'm not sure how many people have max strength at this point of the way, but it's been a while. So anyway, we're gonna run to the idea side and we're gonna check the computer room on the left, and we're gonna check a tech spawn on a box behind the cash registers. This is basically going to be a high value tech spawn loot run with some added benefits of gold chains, bitcoins, rollers, stuff like that. So the first thing we do, we come in through the front entrance of idea, and we're going to run in and we're going to check these 3 tables here. We got a PCB there. We're going to check this table as well, nothing on there. We're not going to take the time to loot all the computers, but of course, feel free to do that if you want to get the most out of the run. We're going to check these back shelves because GPUs and Tetrises can spawn and stuff like that. Keep in mind, this is an offline raid, so the loot's a little less than what you're going to see on an online raid. So after we check those counters there, we're gonna run out the front and we're gonna run behind these cash registers, and we are gonna run around this box area. And you can also keep an eye on these shelves down here. They can spawn bolts and stuff like that, which are extremely valuable. So don't sleep on the bolts. They're about 40k a piece. And we're gonna check this spawn. Oh wait, yeah, there's something in there. Yeah, there's the LCD right there. So we're gonna check this box. I call this the dick box. So you come here, you look at the dick box, you look in this table. GPUs can spawn there, so always check that. You want to run, you want to run, you want to run. You can check the toolboxes here and the duffel there as well if you want to roll some bolts or nuts. Every duffel bag can spawn GPUs and bitcoins, and there's a duffel there and there's a duffel in there if you want. But if you're going for speed and like average money per run, you can stick to this one. So we left the idea, we checked all those idea spawns I wanted to check. Next thing I do is I come in this building. Man, with max strength, can I just jump up this? That's insane. I didn't know that. Sorry, I looked over to my left instinctively because I looked at my chat. I can just jump up there. That's crazy. That's max strength for you. Anyway, I always check this level back here because why not? We have a few things in there. I wouldn't really take any of those right now. Lead X's can spawn on here, so always good to check this shelf. We have a rare spawn on here as well that you can check. Always look at all these metal shelves for anything. We have a toolbox here. I do check this one because it's always in the way, and bolts, stuff like that are always good to find. Now we also want to check all of these shelves because all spawn tech spawns, high value tech spawns. All these shelves here, high value tech spawns, GPUs, you can get Tetrises here. Of course, we're not finding anything because we're on an offline raid. But I will attach some screenshots of me doing this online. So again, we always check this duffel again because duffels Devil's one of my favorite things to loot because they can spawn anything. Well, actually, I don't know that for a fact. I'm not going to say they can spawn anything in the game, but they can spawn Bitcoin, GPUs, Tetris. Like, I've seen all those in duffel bags. So the loot pools, it's like a roulette, and I love that a lot. But anyways, we're going to run back here. There is a GPU spawn in Emercom, but I typically don't open Emercom every time I'm just doing this loot run. What you want to do is run down the central hallway. There's Mantis here. Right across from Mantis, close to the center of the mall here, there's Goshan down there, which we'll turn to in a second. We're going to run in this room, check this table here. We want to check this shelf for high value tech spawns as well. GPUs can spawn in here, G phones, that sort of thing. Let's go and check all of these. We have some RAM here. Not doing the greatest on our offline raid so far, but that's all right. Next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to want to turn around this corner and go left into Goshan. Not a lot of people check this spot, which is why, like, even on scav runs, like, make sure you're checking these spots because I guarantee you there'll be loot left over. And especially I find on nighttime when people are typically doing quests, all of these loot spawns are just that much better. So now we're going to check these shelves right by the right door of Goshan if you're facing the back. Now these shelves can spawn things like rollers, bitcoins, gold chains, all your high value, like valuable loot spawns can spawn back here. So we're gonna check all these shelves real quick. Of course, no luck this time on offline mode. There's a chain there, a chainlet. There's some rubles can also spawn on these lockers. Run around, check all these, check all these. Right, so no gold chains or Bitcoin this time. That's all right. Next thing we're gonna want to do is run through the right door through this computer room. Again, feel free to stop and loot the computers if you want to. But again, whenever you take time to start searching stuff, you then increase how long you're in raid and how long you're missing those chances on getting those GPUs, those Bitcoin roller spawns. On the static spawns. So anyways, up onto the second floor of the mall. Now we're gonna run out. I usually check these black containers just because I love the loot they have in them. I'll loot one of them just because I always love because they can have like very expensive weapon attachments, stuff like that. I always find it fun to loot these now. You even get things like slicks, class 5 armor, 6 armors, good class 4 armors, and all these black boxes. And again, if you're also looking for those Iskras for that Jaeger quest, these black boxes almost always spawn them. There's one under the staircase we just went up earlier, and there's 2 up here that almost always spawn Iskras. So we'll probably see a lot of those. We got some swordins there and a suppressor. So, you know, not bad, right? If you do want to check those black boxes when you're up here. But it's going to run right to techlight. We're going to be a little mindful of people on our right. Depending on if you're PMCing or scavving, there can be people on your right. This is, of course, a high value loot spawn. I do check this duffel bag just because I like duffel bags, but it could be anything. Now we're going to run into techlight. And this store has so many spawns that oftentimes a lot of people either miss them or just don't know it can spawn. Things can spawn in all these places. So after running this a bajillion times, here's what I think all the spawns in techlight are. There's a spawn up here, spawn back here. There's a spawn on this shelf. There's a spawn on this table. On these tables, don't forget. On all of these shelves, you can see here. So actually, let's take loot just so we can get a good little loot or snapshot of what we've earned in the end here. So all of these spawns here, all stuff can spawn on here and here on this little table. Some things can spawn on the floor right here that a lot of people don't see. We have a Tetris right here. We run around them. And a good rule of thumb is just stick your face in everything. Like, look for that white dot. So we have a power cord here. A lot of people probably would have missed that, right? Just stick your face in everything. Now we want to look up on shelves. So what a lot of people don't know is things can spawn on the shelves like G phones and stuff that are lying down, and you can't actually see them because you're short. because PMCs are short as hell. So what you want to do is you want to kind of run up the walls here and see over these top shelves. Nothing will spawn up there in my experience, but they'll spawn on the second highest shelf here. So you do have to get your face in there to kind of see that loot dot. And I found so many GPUs just doing that, because people, and I can see that the store is looted, but they missed the GPU. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just shoving my face into every shelf here. Stuff can spawn here that didn't. Stuff can spawn up here. You're gonna check all of these shelves, all of these shelves, all of these shelves. Keep your face up. Just look for that dot. All right, stuff can spawn on this shelf. Stuff can spawn on here. I've seen a lot of GPUs up on this corner specifically, and here and here. A lot of GPUs I've seen over here as well. They kind of hide when you're looking at it from here. The GPU can easily get lost in just like the color. So it's always good to double check, because you'll be surprised how many GPUs are left there. And then after we looted the tech store, actually there's one more spawn I want to check, because I see GPUs all the time here as well in Tetrises. This little shelf next to this pillar back here, this little area here, for some reason doesn't get looted often, so always check that. But now we're going to go into the medical storage directly across from techlight. Now a lot of people sleep on this as scavs, or if the power's off, because they can't get into the Emercom medical room. But I'm telling you right now, please check the shelves outside of this room. I have found 2 LEDXs on my scav on these shelves, just sitting there, and then both times right here, or it was on this shelf or on this shelf. I can't remember if it was the top or bottom, but specifically all the time, check these. Make sure you check these, because that LEDX can be sitting there. And when I found one of the LEDXs, 10 minutes left in raid, no one checked the white shelf. And as well as they can spawn you good medical items. You see, you've got a Propitol right here. So you can always get good medical items if, you know, you're looking for that samples quest and stuff like that, injectors. This is a great place to check, even though you don't have access or the key to that room. So after we looted the medical store, the tech light, we're gonna run down this escalator here. And we are gonna check the Texho, which is right under tech light, and right next to Ollie. So always check this little speaker. It has a bunch of loot spawns. You want to look at all these shelves here. So we got a broken LCD. We'll take that, because it's still vendors for a little bit. I think you can sell them for like 20K. We want to check all of these shelves, and I always recommend you shove your face in the shelves, even though if you think you can see, if you play with the low LOD, sometimes items just won't spawn in until you get a certain like distance to them, or sometimes you just won't see. Sometimes I've seen so many Tetrises on these shelves because people just leave them. So always check those. We got some HDDs. These are good for crafting things like AP20s in the hideout. We got some gas analyzers. This router is a great run if you're looking for any gas analyzers, just because you'll see a million of them. I guarantee you, if you're looking for gas analyzers for your questing, if you're just starting the game now, you will get those gas analyzers within 2-3 runs of doing this. So we're checking all these shelves here. Now that we're done with the Texho, a lot of people, again, sleep on some of these things here. So ammo can spawn here. I've gotten BS rounds from this shelf. All of these shelves have a chance of spawning things like gold chains and stuff. I've gotten many gold chains just from looking at these shelves. You can also get some household items, things like, you know, your alkali if you need that for your quest, stuff like that, like those hardware items. You can get a GPU spawn right next to the PlayStation on this TV here, about midway into the furniture store next to the weapon box. So right where this HDD is, you can get GPUs. I've gotten many from there as well. People sleep on those. You can get rollers, gold chains from these shelves. Again, a lot of people sleep on that. I don't see a lot of people talking about that. You can loot this black weapon box. I love looting these weapon boxes, so I'm all about it. I'm gonna go loot this weapon box. You can get a bunch of fun stuff from here. Nothing too great there, unfortunately. Again, checking all of these shelves for gold chains, anything like that. This is an ammo box. It's called, yeah, so it's a wooden ammo box. I don't really check this. I'm just gonna check this because what is that round? What the heck? Never seen a VMAX round before. or at least I don't recall. But anyway, so it's always good to check this. Maybe, you know, a lot of the better spots have been hit. It's very nice to check these, because 9 times out of 10 people do not check the jewelry in this store. Also, there's some duffels if you ever want to check these duffels real quick, because duffels are so much fun to loot in my opinion, just because of what the possibilities of stuff you can get in them. So you can check these duffels there. 2 duffels in this room. You can see what we get. So there we go. Eagle gunpowder, great for crafting. You can craft BP 762. You can sell it. It's a great gunpowder to get. Now we're going to the Rasmussen. So we're going down the hall, past the Texho and the furniture store, right to Raz here. I'm gonna check all of these shelves, more PCBs as we can see. You also do want to stuff your face in the boxes for stuff. For this perfect example, like from here, you would never know something was in that. You always got to stuff your face into stuff to make sure that that loot dot pops up. Again, more gas sands, as you can tell, just to make sure you don't miss anything. Anything can spawn in these boxes. Items can spawn in those boxes. Items can spawn in this box. All on these shelves. Again, I see Tetrises really blend into the shelves here, because they're white and the shelves are white, or grayish, and it's very easy to miss them. As well as the end of this shelf, stuff can spawn in here, no one checks, and stuff can spawn behind this counter. I've gotten a lot of RFIDs specifically right next to this chair behind this shelf. I probably have about 10 or so RFIDs in my stash right now waiting to sell in bulk, just from this one spot. So make sure you always check that. And once you're done looting the Raz, the loot run is basically over. So what I usually do at this point, if I spawn on the idea side, is I run down this ramp. At this point, I give this duffel bag under the ramp a check. See things like G-phones, weapon parts, these things can spawn anything. Look at that, G-phone and dry fuel right there. That is a lot of money. I'd probably drop the swordings for those. Right there is probably about, what, these are like 40, 50K right now. This is like 15, about 10, 15. Right there, 60K out of just a duffel bag. So I always check those for that reason. And then I check this weapon box just under the ramp, just because I'm here anyway, why not? And then depending on what spawn you got, if you spawn on the idea side, your exfil is going to be Emercom. So if you run out this way, you're running out the front of the mall towards the railway exfil. And if you run out this way, which is the way I'm gonna run, you're heading toward that back wall that takes you to the Emercom exfil. Now, of course, Killa can spawn down here, so as well as AI scavs, so you got to be very careful when you're running out here. Usually he's not here. I mean, Killa is usually everywhere else, but sometimes he can be there, and that's just unfortunate. So yeah, now we're running out. The side, as you can tell, this is the ollie, so now you kind of know where we're at. Now we're on the ollie side, if you ever spawn on the ollie side, but you can spawn back there, you can spawn behind here. And now we're gonna follow the blue fence, and we're gonna get to the exfil. The only other thing I want to say, and I'll keep this open just so we can see how much this is. The only other thing I want to say is, if you spawn on the idea side or on the ollie side, you'll just do that in reverse. So what you do is I'd run into ollie, I hit the Texho, I hit the furniture store just to make sure nothing, the GPUs, the gold chains, the rollers didn't spawn the shelves. Run up to techlight, and then what I usually do is I run back down the escalators, and I run through Rasmussen, and then I go to the gold chain lockers in Goshan from Raz. So you go through Raz, you pass the ramp that goes down, and then you get the gold chain Bitcoin spawn on the lockers, and then from there you basically just have the run in reverse from before. You run into the tech store, across the medical store, the Mantis, and then you run into that hardware store across from the Emercom metal area, where you can spawn the GPUs in the shelves, you get that toolbox, you got that duffel with a possible LEDX spawn back there. It's possible, it's very rare. Honestly, I haven't seen it myself, but LEDX can spawn there. I have seen it. I've seen other people get it. And then you run to the idea, you can check the dick box, and then you can check the computer rooms. And that's a good run. That's a good run. I will post another video on the stashes of Interchange, because say you scav in and you didn't get every item you wanted to, or you didn't get a lot of items, you can always hit the stashes. And I'll make a follow-up video on the stashes, just in case, you know, you come out, you still have some room in your bag, maybe you have high scout karma, you spawn with a pilgrim, or low. I mean, you can spawn with the pilgrim really with any karma, but you get my drift. You can always run out and then check the stashes of Interchange. I've also done that, got Bitcoins in stashes, GPUs in stashes. You can get some of the expensive R bands. So that will come right after this video. If this was useful for you, and I'll see you in the next one.